Hello everybody and welcome to tonight's show. Great to see people in chat. Let's just give a few hellos. Hello Sydney, good to see you. Hello Tom Hanson. Tom Hanson Live is a great drummer. If you like drumming, do give him a follow. Thelonious, good to see you. Foxy is a variety streamer and DJ, so check her out too, please. Good to see everybody. Oh, hello Ditch, good evening, good to see you. So, we have a new emote, inspired by last week's comments. We have a new emote, and there was a request after last week's particularly gruesome case to do to start with something a lot less gruesome and a bit more light-hearted. So we're going to do the Somerset Gimp, which is a real thing, and then we'll do 3 cases tonight. They're not all as crazy as the Somerset Gimp. We have a case of a streamer currently using his stream as an alibi, and then we're going to discuss what on the internet. They say it's one of Germany's greatest murder mysteries. I think we're going to go with the fact it isn't, but it's still very enjoyable. And if you want to take it in that direction, you can. But we're not going to play up the unknown angle, because it's not the spooky stream, it's the what probably happened stream. So, but it'll still be good fun. So I hope everybody is well, and I apologise in advance. This is your fault. We're doing the Somerset Gimp. I have photos for all of these, but let's now. Does everyone in chat know what a gimp is? Good. That saved some very awkward explanations. So in 2018. And onwards until 2023, residents of many villages in Somerset in the UK were terrified by a mysterious figure seen at night. Clad in a tight black suit, which people once thought was made of latex, and a collection of full masks, the Somerset Gimp had been following people and spying on them seemingly at random. It began on November 23rd in Yatton and remained in Yatton for several months. On 7 occasions, people rang the police. Thelonious is another kinky stream. Are we getting a reputation, Thelonious? I was just asked for less gruesome, right? So you've got a gimp. It's not gruesome. You're going to see the photos. It's not gruesome. So on 7 occasions in this area, sad. Did you say he's sad there's no cosplay? I should have gimped up for the show. Yes, we'll push that away for a while. So on 7 occasions, people rang the police, having been disturbed by a lurking man dressed in what was described as a full gimp suit. Sometimes he had a red mask, sometimes a black one. Sometimes one made of gaffer tape. The gimp made sexual gestures, touched himself, and on occasions rolled around in animal dung and pretended to masturbate. Now, if you're trying to picture the Somerset Gimp in your mind, don't worry. Here's the Somerset Gimp. Now, I'm saying this in a light-hearted manner, but if you're out walking on your own, in the middle of the night, say on the way home from the pub, and you bump into that, you're not necessarily going to be confident that you're not about to get murdered. But this is what greeted several people. While news reports of this frequently reported it as amusing, the residents of Yatton were soon terrified. Nobody had any idea what the gimp might do or escalate to. And women began to be afraid to go out after dark. Community formed as people would only go out in groups, arranged car pickups or to be walked home, even from the village hall. Village life changed to revolve around the gimp. Ditch says he calls that a Tuesday. That is, I should ask if that's all you've got. Yeah. We are going to get to a pair of people that did speak to the gimp in a minute. Then the Yatton gimp became the Somerset gimp. His first known appearance in Claverham was on July 11th, 2019, when he appeared out of the dark to scare a woman. She was able to take a photograph and escape unharmed. From August 7th, 2019 to September 1st, 2021, there were 9 gimp disturbances. Hello, C1 Rockstar. Glad to see you. SMF Remixes is just coming. We are talking... So we get the terminology right. What is a group of gimps called? I don't know. I do not know the collective noun for a group of gimps. Yes, Steve, we are doing the Somerset gimp. Who obviously does feature in the 12 Days of Christmas, just after the maids are milking. So there were more gimp sightings, and then in Claverham and Congresbury on September 1st, the victims hadn't even left their home. He was looking into their window at them. Police had spoken to suspects but had never had enough evidence to do anything. And here's another photo of the gimp rolling around on the ground in front of you, making strange noises. Shout out to SMF Remixes, one of Twitch's new DJs, but also the great guitarist Steve Ford, who was streaming only this afternoon. A lovely deep house set. I say that as if I actually can tell the genres, and I can't tell the genres. SMF Remixes says Karen is currently rolling around on the floor. Not like that. Not like that, hopefully. So the gimp didn't just target women. Nobody could tell who he was targeting or what he was doing, but the BBC interviewed a man in his 20s. He was in Yatton getting something out of his car at 2 a.m. when he looked up and saw on the other side of his car the gimp just stood there looking at him. After a pause, the victim said he found himself instinctively moving towards the gimp, which I think means going to beat the hell out of him. However, the gimp ran away very, very fast. Clearly there is nothing in a gimp suit to hold you back. He said he was relieved it was not his mother who was getting the stuff out of the car. There was, however, some sympathy amid the growing horror. As the man hadn't yet touched anybody, some members of the public were worried they were witnessing a man having a mental breakdown and that he needed help. Yeah, this man definitely needs help. Sightings continued across 21 and 22, the gimp appearing out of the night towards people. But on October 25th, 2022 in Cleve, Tom Hansen says he's found his Halloween costume. 2 chefs saw the gimp, as they described it, writhing and grunting on the ground in front of them, covered in mud. One of the chefs was 6'9", so rather than being scared by the gimp, offered him a cigarette and told him to go home. The gimp sensibly took this advice, got up because the man could break him in half, accepted the smoke, and headed off. A day later, police arrested a man for causing a public nuisance, but charges were dropped as there were insufficient evidence. Some locals needed treatment and medication after having seen the gimp. Here's a slightly pulled out shot. Yes, Thelonious, I see what you mean. Yes, he's certainly not that pole vaulter, is he? And that's the end of this streaming career, I suppose. By now, the story had gone global, with people around the world fascinated by how a part of the UK was terrorised. As the New York Post put it, freak dressed in black gimp suit. Not an unfair description. It's a slightly pulled out shirt. Somewhat inevitably, internet entrepreneurs began producing merchandise that you could sell all about the gimp. However, I'm now going to take you on a slightly historical tangent, so bear with me. As the gimp became a kind of global cultural artifact, especially in Yatton, so previous parts of Yatton's cultural history came back to the surface to merge together in a kind of soup. A teenager reported that the gimp had not just flopped around on the ground, but spoken in a demonic language. People then began to remember that in 1788, a Yatton man called George Lukins, aka the Yatton demoniac, had been exorcised for speaking in a demonic possession. History and the present began to merge. Was this black satanic figure somehow demonic? No, obviously not. It's an idiot, as we'll find out in a minute. See when Rockstar says, yeah, sadly missed your streams. I was catching on missing sleep. Oh, yes, talking to Steve. Yes, well, people do need to sleep. See, one you can get quite bad if you don't. Glad you got some rest. In 2023, the gimp moved on to Bleedon, now sporting a mask with white crosses over the eyes. He was sighted on May 7th crawling along the road in a gimp suit, leaving a woman motorist in fear she was about to be kidnapped. Somehow he was not run over. I imagine being on a dark road at night in a black suit and relying only on the speed of motorists who you are now terrified is not the safest hobby in the world for anybody. Anyway, on May 8th, the gimp was out again. Now, in all of these sightings, the police had gone to investigate, and what they'd found had been mostly hidden because they said there'd never been enough evidence. But on May 9th, the police went out, did their search, and they found a white van reversing out of a field. So they stopped it. They found it was driven by a 32-year-old gardener, make your own jokes, called Joshua Hunt, make your own jokes. Hunt told officers, I am not dangerous, I am a normal person, I have got a few problems, which is obviously the thing an innocent man would say in this situation. So they looked in the van and found tight black outfits, masks and gloves, wet from having just been rolled around on the ground. Hunt was arrested and charged for the 2 sightings in Bleeden. He confessed to those, but was adamant he wasn't the Gimp who'd been scaring people for years in other locations. However, the police revealed he was the man they'd previously investigated and released, as they lacked evidence. So basically he was the Gimp. Hunt claimed, "I was attempting to kill myself. I didn't intend to scare anybody. I was crying out for help and needed help with my mental health." Not entirely sure how that is killing yourself. Oh, also, this is what he looks like. He said, "I hated myself with the way I looked and the way I am and everything about me." He said what he was doing had a name. He said it was called mudding, where he would go and roll around and cover himself in mud owing to his self-hatred. As he put it, it's a simple thing. I feel like shit. I cover myself in shit. I apologise to these people. I agree what I was doing was frightening, but hand on heart, I never intended to cause them harassment, alarm, or distress. Ditch says gave him a chance to be run over. Yeah, I guess so. Anyway, the judge didn't believe him. Bleenden was given a £100 fine, £620 in costs, and had to pay his victims £200 each. She didn't believe him because she gave him a 5-year sexual harm risk order, which puts you on the sex offenders register and is a very serious sign that there is something sexually wrong with your psyche. It also produced perhaps one of the most funny things ever recorded in British criminal history, when the judge had to order several things. 1, he could not be in possession of any mask or face covering in public between 9 p.m. and 6 a.m. unless he had a valid medical reason. He could not be in possession of black all-in-one clothes for the same span, and he could not, and this is legally written down, writhe or wriggle on the ground in public. That's his breakdancing career over. They also limited his internet access, because you absolutely know his hard drive is riddled, don't you? So, yeah, some judges don't have a sense of humour. Yes, I believe this was a particularly unusual case, much like Ray Gun, yeah. If he broke this order, he would be sent to prison. Police and the judge were convinced it wasn't just some warped prank or mudding, but there was a threatening sexual aspect to it, and there was no telling how it would escalate if he was allowed to carry on gimping. I'm not sure if gimping is the word, but we're going with it. It has to be said that since his conviction, there were no more Somerset Gimp sightings. However, it's not stopped the fear that exists about who or what might be out there. Darkness still makes the residents of these areas uncomfortable. And you'd hope that would be it for the story of the Somerset Gimp. But I regret to tell you we now move to a section in my notes titled The Gimp Men. So, what are you doing tonight? Other person going gimping. For a while, the Somerset Gimp was just one lone pervert. But as the Gimp hit global headlines, you know what people thought. They thought, I'll have a go at that. To this day, Britain remains the location of, okay, irregular, but actual Gimp sightings. Mostly in the south. Make your own jokes. Some of these are one-off random sightings, and others are prolonged campaigns of terror by men in latex suits. Steve says, is there anything better than this on the internet right now? I'll tell you who's not on the internet right now, that man there. Anyway, now, I did want to balance this out, but there is a good Gimp. So during the height of the Somerset Gimp sightings, this caused a lot of problem for the Essex Gimp, who who does also exist and is a thing. But while the Somerset Gimp was scaring people for sexual kicks, the Essex Gimp was just a man that liked the escape of the gimp suit and was using his appearance to raise money for mental health charities. Because what else? He complained that gimps were getting a bad name. To be fair, on the Essex Gimp, he avoided people that looked uncomfortable with him, and initiatives like donating £1 whenever someone posts a photo sighting of him on social media raised over £3,000 before he retired. Otherwise, I'd have put a picture of him in here. But it read that he wasn't doing that anymore, so I didn't. And that, ladies and gentlemen, ends the Gimp segment, and you are all very pleased that that's happened. Ditch, thank you for gifting the tier 1 to C1 Rockstar. Thank you very much. Yeah, to Tom Hampton, of course, there is more than one. Ditch specifically said I should do a stream on copycats. So we will do that, but we have added the copycats at the end of this because they don't deserve their own place. Let's just one more time. One more time. Yeah. That's how you've chosen to spend your. So Ditch says you don't see what I wear off stream. Maybe these are just all photos of me. I'm going to be honest. If I was that self-like of a figure, no, I still wouldn't wear a gimp suit. No. No offence to anybody that likes gimping. Gimp suits are very slimming, yeah. SMF Remixes says next DJ stream he's doing a Daft Punk mashup called One More Time. Time to spice things up a bit. That's rich coming from the man that told Max Horn his jokes were terrible. Is that really you posting there? No, sadly that's not. No, not sadly. That's not me. That's this man here. This man here who will spend the rest of his life known to all friends and family as the Gimp. Right. I wonder whether I should have done this last, because the next story does involve a murder. But what can we do? Thought we'd kick off with a bit of fun. Copycat Gimp. Yeah, no, we did the Copycat Gimps already, did you? Yeah. Speaking of cats, we don't appear to have a Polly near us. That could be a problem. She's been coming in all day. Hang on, let me try and hang on. Copycat Gimps is an excellent name for a band. Yeah, that is a good name for a band. I wonder what would happen if I banged the cupboard door. Do you think we'd get a Polly sighting? No. Okay. It's amazing, isn't it? I do a good month of streams where she comes and sits here. So I move the webcam and she instantly doesn't come in again. Yeah, I could rattle a Dreamies pack, but I don't have any in here. They're at the other end of the hall. Yeah. Well, we'll do another story and then we'll see if she's interested. If we can interest her. Right, so this has been... I've chosen this story deliberately because this is a stream and there are a lot of streamers watching. So this is a story about how a streamer is attempting to use his stream as an alibi in a murder case. Oh, let's put me back on for a bit. If you bang the cupboard door, you may get banged off Twitch. I feel like that's a euphemism that we can use going forward. So I want to begin this with a very clear and very important clarification and warning. So I'm going to be talking about a case that is ongoing. The accused murderer, his trial is due to start next month. So what we're going to be going through is the facts that they are known, what the police and the prosecution argue, and what the defence is arguing. So if I slip up and just randomly call this man a murderer, what I do mean is alleged murderer until his trial has concluded. However, as you may see, the evidence for is quite large, and the evidence in defence is a bit rubbish. But, you know, Ditch says, also legally speaking, this channel does not endorse murder. Yes. I've not been. It's funny. I do get these emails going. Oh, do you want to do a sponsorship? And I'm like, no, because this is some random game. No, this is a crime stream. I've not been sponsored by any pro-murder groups. There's probably some. I mean, it's the internet. There's probably a website saying people should have the right to just be able to wander around and off people. But where I'm leading with this is, having said all of that, I logged on this morning, and somebody I follow was playing a game called Crime Scene Cleaner. Where's my Crime Scene Cleaner sponsorship? Surely that is the most perfect game possible for this stream. Firstly, you're not killing anybody, so that's kind of going to get, you know, that's going to be okay with the complaints. You know. Ditch Boy says, I've seen that in our Ditch. You must review it for chat and me. Any good? Is it just Power Wash Simulator with more blood, or is it? Do tell us. Or I'll lie witter of it to fill the time you're typing. Oh yeah, the legal Ditch from the legal team says this channel does not endorse cleaning up crime scenes until after the police have had a look. Yes. Yes. In fact, last week we did a story where this serial killer could have been stopped on victim 1 had the police not decided to wander around his flat without a warrant. Like, you just sort of forget the warrants because they don't come up very often, do you? Hi Leslie, good to see you. Leslie, you'll be pleased to know you've missed a story all about gimps. The VODs are on YouTube. Should anyone want to go back over the gimps? Right. Having given the warning then that this is mostly alleged until further notice, let's get into the case of Stephen McCulloch, a killer streamer. So earlier this year, posting on the Reddit page r/YouTube drama began with a brutal statement. My favourite YouTuber is a murderer. So what happened here? YouTuber Vote Saxon 07, yes, that is a Doctor Who reference, aka Stephen McCulloch, is accused of murder. So Stephen McCulloch was a streamer. He had over 30,000 followers on YouTube, and he was an assistant audience editor for the Belfast Telegraph. He had also appeared as a contestant on Robot Wars in 2017. He lost immediately. It was terrible. As you can tell, bit of a sci-fi guy. He was dating a woman called Natalie McNally, who was 15 weeks pregnant with the pair's child. On Sunday, December 18th, 2023, he exchanged messages with Natalie in the afternoon, saying he was going to stream that evening. And indeed, his audience logged in. We're just going back a bit. Google suggests the collective noun for gimps is a squad. I thought that was like when your teenage girls were all mates. That was a squad. That's an unfortunate thing to share, isn't it? Really, that is an unfortunate thing to share. You don't really know, if you're going to get a group of social media obsessed youngsters or some gimps. That could be awkward. So his audience logged on and they watched him stream for 6 hours. He played Grand Theft Auto Vice City. And it ended. Afterwards, Stephen heard nothing from Natalie. And the next day he went to her home, only to find that she had been beaten and stabbed to death. He called the police and they quickly arrived. Tom Hansen prefers a gaggle of gimps. That's a good one. The police initially detained Stephen, but on learning he'd been streaming during the time forensics determined the murder happened, he was released and ruled out as a suspect. Obviously, he's not magic. He can't be in two places at once. A Google of gimps probably get sued for that one. A wimp of gimps. A Google of gimps is the entire internet. So police began a full and wide investigation into who had killed Natalie and her baby, but they found a major problem. No, I haven't told you about this one before, did you? No. And the problem was that Stephen was a key witness. He found the crime scene. He could give them key information on what exactly he'd walked into, but he was reluctant to talk to the police about it. And you may think a man that's just discovered his girlfriend dead would be more than willing to tell them about how and why he'd found this. So the police took another look at Stephen. His live streaming was an easy and obvious alibi, but they began to notice something about it. He begins the stream by saying it's a little out of the blue, and he had a Tegan, great to see you. And he had no idea how long he'd be going for, as he had some stuff in his private life and it's all been a bit of a nightmare. Nevertheless, in a black t-shirt and Santa hat, he plays and talks, vaping and drinking beer. But there was something else. He opened talking about tech problems. This stream I'm very worried about. It could end at any moment because I've been trying to set this up. The computer was having none of it. He said he wouldn't be able to read and react to chat because the quality of this stream is a little bit crap. So he played for 6 hours talking to the air as his chatters spoke to themselves and made comments he said he couldn't read. And the police realised there was no interaction at all that proved he was actually there during that stream. It was a stream, but it was not a live stream. Police looked at Stephen's equipment and were able to piece together a digital jigsaw that told him something damning. He would then, they rearrested him and he gave a statement. He admitted that the stream had been recorded on the night of the 13th into the 14th of December, and he had merely pressed play on the video to stream it on the night of the murder. Since this information was released, people have begun to read things into the things Stephen said and did on the stream. For instance, he decided to call his alibi stream the Violent Night Christmas Live gaming stream. At the time, police believe he was killing Natalie. The stream shows him playing a side mission where he kills a woman and covers it up. And he then says, "That's physics. That's what would happen in the real world. Abso-fuck Natalie. In a world of cockroaches, be a spider." At a different point, Stephen says, "Pay attention, 007, then runs a promotional image of the James Bond film Time to Die, then removes it and says that was an error. These last things are all a bit circumstantial, but they do seem a bit weird when you consider what he's been accused of. So his alibi was fake. He said he'd take the whole stream and played it that night. Yes, it was recorded, but he didn't kill Natalie. He was drinking on his own, and he fell asleep in his home. The defence put it in court that essentially what the evidence seems to hang on is that this man did not live stream when he said he live streamed. And obviously, I'm telling you this because that's not it. The police did their policey work. They did the full work, and they managed to build up using CCTV and witness statements. They were able to trace a man leaving the murder scene, catching a bus, getting off that bus, then catching a taxi to Stephen's house. On the bus, video cameras show the man is wearing 2 pairs of gloves, a black outer glove and a yellow marigold cleaning glove underneath. There were forensic traces of a marigold glove at the murder scene. Stephen did not touch his phone for the entire period he would have been out allegedly murdering, but he checked it 3 minutes after the taxi dropped whoever went inside his house at his house. Stephen's defence here isn't great. He accepts that whoever killed Natalie took a taxi to his home address and went in, but he doesn't know who that might be. I mean, we've all got random people wandering into our houses. No, we don't, do we, Stephen? We really don't. Thelonious says maybe the Gimp visited. Indeed. Police obviously search for a motive. Obviously there is no good motive for killing your girlfriend. However, what they believe triggered Stephen is that 3 days before her murder, Natalie had spoken to an ex-boyfriend on WhatsApp, swapping 33 messages. Police allege Stephen, based on her phone activity, that he had seen these messages, and that was the final trigger. Disturbingly, before being arrested, Stephen arranged and spent 20 minutes alone with Natalie's body before the funeral. Obviously, that's also not it either, because this escalates again. As if this couldn't get any worse, during the period of freedom between his girlfriend's death and his arrest for doing it, Stephen was spying on Natalie's family, allegedly. So he'd only met them twice before the murder, but after the murder, although he didn't want to have anything to do with the police, he was in frequent contact with the family, asking them all about everything they'd heard about the case. But more than that, one day after visiting Natalie's family at their house and leaving, he came back 40 minutes later because he said he'd forgotten to take his mobile phone. When police arrested him, they discovered that for the entire 40 minutes, he had set the phone to record what the family had been saying, perhaps about him in his absence. The police believed this was an attempt to see the progress of the police investigation and whether there was any suspicions. Discussing whether he should be denied bail, they said, had there been any suspicions voiced by the family and any expression of an intention to talk to the police, we just don't know what would have happened. The police are afraid he may have killed again. Stephen was remanded in custody awaiting his trial. It begins next month. We will do an update, at least at the end. And if anything big comes out, we will cover it. And a rally in Lurgan Park in Natalie's memory drew more than 1,000 people. So there you are. You can't use a fake live stream to cover up a murder because you will get nailed on it. Or is that what I'm doing now? So we'll just take a little pause there. How is everybody? How's everybody doing? I think we've reached the end of summer here in balmy Bedfordshire. Ditchwa says too much chat and traction. Yeah. Maybe we'll have a bit of a later one. Unless you've trained Polly to kill it. Well, she's not here, is she? She's not here. She's out there ninjaing. Yeah, where is... I mean, that's a question I often ask myself, Ditch. About 15 minutes before the stream started, I heard a loud metallic clattering sound, which I couldn't explain. And when I went out to the loo, I discovered my deodorant rolling around on the floor. So it turns out that Polly obviously tries to sit there on that area or knock things off. See when Rockstar says, as long as she isn't out gimping. I have a feeling, they say pets mimic their owners. I don't think you would be able to put any form of costume onto Polly without upsetting her or injury to yourself. Sydney says, hopefully Polly doesn't find the open window again. We don't really open the windows anymore. It's not been a pleasant summer because somebody means we can't have a draft and fresh air. Naughty kitty. But what can you do? Let me just turn around. Polly, there. She's not listening to her media training. You can open the cupboard if you want. You can open the window if you also open the cupboard. Yeah, if I open the cupboard, go to Norway for a week, still she wouldn't notice. It's a real shame I've got that picture stuck on the cupboard, or I could open it now. Having said that, then you would only see her for 1 second as her arse disappeared into the cupboard. Things we do for our pets, indeed. What I should have done is added some pictures of Polly to OBS. So everybody that's in chat gang, you don't have a cat. We've been here for years. Where's your cat? Maybe we'll do a Polly picture next time. I won't be rude and set one up now. I feel that's a bit silly. Oh, hang on. I did that entire thing and didn't show any photos. Right. Hold. Right, sorry. This is Stephen, the alleged murderer. Now, C1, yeah, right, C1, what you've said is a good idea, but not in this context. So C1 said, one of the musicians I follow has a treatment for his cat, and you can spend bits to give the cat treats. This is a brilliant idea if the cat was in the room to eat the treats, and she's not. And I'm a bit worried that people will be donating for an invisible cat to eat the treats. So that's Stephen, the alleged murderer. Um, that's Natalie, who sadly passed away. In fact, I'm not even going to say passed away. Sadly, she was murdered by some git. And this is what the stream looked like. Not me, ignore me. But Grand Theft Auto on one side, him in a silly hat, and then the words "Merry Christmas." Yes, yes, you're right. In fact, everyone in chat is right. If I did shake the treat, she would come. Why don't we? Thelonious says put a fake Polly in her spot. That would get her in. Yes, bit of a jealous cut. Tegan says, why don't we ever use bits to treat the streamer? I could get right. So shall I get a packet of chocolate biscuits next time, and you can use bits, and I'll eat chocolate biscuits on stream. We want Polly. All right. I'm a bit worried that if I right, I'll tell you what I'll do. I will go and get the Dreamies, and then we will shake the Dreamies, and we will see if it will work. I get treated. Thanks. Right, I'm going to put my bee right back on, because this is what a professional would. Hello. So Thelonious says her cats would come running to kill a fake kitty. That's a comforting thought. Polly is sat on the hallway, which is the landing hallway, which has been her favourite spot for quite a few weeks now. Here is a mega tub of Dreamies. We have to buy Dreamies in mega tubs. And I will now shake the Dreamies. Oh, well, that's not worse. She has not come. She's broken, yeah. Don't know what's wrong. Well, I didn't do anything. She said, yeah, she knows I'm lying. She 100% knows I'm lying, doesn't she? She's rumbled. I really thought that would work, you know. I really thought that would work. Did you pay the agent's appearance fee? Yeah. I bet you any money, as soon as I click stop streaming, she'll be right in here. Oh, I know what I could. Right, so Steve suggested I try closing the door and seeing if she then wants in. The reason I didn't do that is because this room gets really oppressively hot, and I get very coffee from the still air. However, we only have one story left, and you will forgive me if I have to pause. So I will try closing the door, and we shall see if we hear a little meow. Right, keep your ears peeled. The Ditch Boy says, You just say she's on the landing. I think he's out murdering. She is running her crime assassination wing. Anyway, right. We will get into the... now, I don't know how to pronounce this. So I'm going to call it the Yogsy mystery. And you'll see why. So, in theory, right, on the internet, you'll hear that one of the greatest of all Germany's unsolved mysteries remains mired in unknowns to this day. It involves a man, a code, and a very mysterious death. As you'll find out, I'm going to argue this is not as big a mystery as it might appear, but let's have fun with it anyway. Digboy says we need a Polly with a knife, mate. You can take the picture. So, in 1984, Gunther Stoll lived in West Germany. He was a food engineer, but he was currently unemployed and was going through a documented case of paranoia. One way this health concern exhibited was Stoll's references to them, people of unknown origin or identity, who said they were going to hurt him. On the evening of October 25th, 1984, Stoll once more, as now normal, mentioned them to his wife. Tom Hansen has got a fantastic emote combo of Polly and a man getting a little stabby. I'm going to be honest, given my only basic understanding of Twitch emote policy, I didn't realise you could do that. That's good. That gives me some ideas for emotes for this channel. Well, I imagine the taste police would be up at... Can you imagine the complaints I'd get if I ran a Twitch stream where if I said somebody got stabbed, Twitch could put in a picture of somebody doing that? That's a fast way to get a lot of angry emails, isn't it? Anyway, so he said he mentioned them to his wife as he normally did. But tonight, on the 25th of October, he did something very different. He shouted, "Now I've got it," obviously in German. He then wrote on a piece of paper 6 letters. Y-O-G-T-Z-E, hence Yogsy. He then crossed it out. A short while later, he said he needed to go to his favourite bar. He went in, but he'd only ordered a beer before he collapsed and hurt his face. He recovered immediately. He was not drunk. And when he woke up, he was allowed to drive away. He drove a VW Golf 1. We don't know what he did for the next 2 hours, but at 1 a.m. He turned up in a village 10 kilometres away, where he'd lived as a child. We know this only because he knocked on the door of an elderly woman he'd known since his youth and tried to go in. She didn't want to let him in, it was late. But he told her there was a horrible incident which was about to take place this night. She suggested he go to his nearby parents' home and speak to them. Stoll said they wouldn't understand him. The woman concerned said Stoll should get back to his wife. He agreed and left. Oh, C1 has a gift suggestion. Let's have a look. No arguments there, C1. That is top tier selection. That is a GIF and a half. I have a feeling they won't let that be an emote, but we can try. For the benefits of those on the VOD, it's a image of a very fluffy cat appearing to threateningly wave a knife. If they can do that, they're nearly at can opener stage, and then we're done. They don't need us anymore. Anyway, so he disappeared off into the night. Unfortunately, at 3 a.m., That same night, 2 truck drivers were travelling down the A45 and were 60 miles from the village where Stoll had last been seen, near the Hagen soon turn off. They saw a vehicle crash into a roadside trench. It was a VW Golf 1. The truck drivers both reported seeing an injured person in a white jacket walking in the vicinity, so the truck drivers stopped, called the police and went to help the passengers, which was when they found there was only one passenger. That passenger was severely injured, and it was a completely naked Stoll. Stoll said there'd been 4 men in the car who had now run off, but said they weren't his friends, and then sadly soon after he died from the considerable injuries. Investigators found a major puzzle. Firstly, he had died from the injuries from a severe car crash, but it was not the injuries from his VW crashing into the trench. Stoll had been hit by a vehicle. He had been put in the passenger seat of his V1 and driven to this site and crashed again. The damage to the VW had only been caused by the second crash. So his injuries were consistent with being run over, and he was already naked when he was run over. No one else saw the white jacket walker, but several people saw a hitchhiker on the road. Police initially suspected Stoll's holidays to the Netherlands and wondered if there was any sort of drug link, but that was rejected. They didn't have much to go on for a while. It was only 6 months later when Stoll's wife thought to mention for the first time the Yogsey notes. She'd thrown it away on the night of his death and based her description on memory. He might have written YOGTZE, he might have written YO6TZE, he might have written any other variation, we really don't know. To this day, no one definitively knows what happened to Stoll, who was involved, whether Yogsey means anything, whether anything happened between a terrible one-off event happened. But you know, people like to think, they like to come up with theories, so here are some theories. Yogsey is a call sign for a Romanian radio station, but they have no idea how that would relate. If you change some of the letters to numbers and fiddle about with it a bit, it might be a number plate. Nobody knows. Steve says, could he have written YMCA? Good point. Actually, it's funny you mention that. A lot of people go, did he mean Yahtzee? Well, Yahtzee has a different name in Germany, so probably not. But YMCA might have a different name in Germany. They do like longer words, longer compound words. It turns out, as Stoll was a food technician, maybe TZE refers to the yogurt flavouring TZE. But would anybody kill him over yogurt? Vegans would kill him over yogurt. Steve says, Yahtzee, the 80s popular dice game. I love Yahtzee. What do you mean 80s? It's modern. Still going. Still going. Or kill him with a yogurt. I don't know how hard they'd have had to hit him with a yogurt to have done these injuries. A truck full of yogurt. A TV show did a feature on the case in 1985, and the police received over 170 tips, but it came to nothing. In 2016, German police made an attempt to find DNA on the remaining evidence. But since then, it's been completely unclear whether anything or anything useful was ever found. So obviously, people like to talk about this as a major, fascinating unsolved mystery. However, this isn't the spooky stream. This is the true crime stream. It is most probable, and it's a likely explanation. It's a believable explanation that Stoll's earlier actions were the first part of a complete mental breakdown or psychotic break, and that in those missing hours he had this psychotic break, stripped and was in the road naked where he was hit by a car. The passengers, perhaps drunk, tried to cover it up. And Yogsy and everything else is just nonsense from this mental breakdown. Still a crime, a driving offence that killed him and left him to die, but not a conspiracy that is... one of the conspiracies, I thought, was that he may have discovered people were genetically modifying foods, so they assassinated him before he could reveal the truth. I mean, fun, yeah, a fun flight of imagination. Absolutely no evidence. So, Gunther Stoll, probably the victim of a hit and cover-up run. Potentially, however, slight chance there's a vast, brilliant Cold War mystery here. If I had my fiction writer's hat on, I will absolutely be turning this into something cracking. But I'm not wearing that hat today. I'm wearing the factual hat, and that is a very, very bad retelling of the Yogsy mystery, because I basically got it. It's probably that's just like a really obvious explanation. Sorry, but if you want to dig into it, there's a lot of threads out there where people go absolutely ham. So let me try opening the. Well, I won't go immediately. We'll try opening the door, and we'll see if the cat comes in. Right, we shall see. Ditch says, found naked and killed with your yogurt. I may not have been fully listening. Let's face it, that's a banging story if I can find one. I'm gonna. What happens if I Google killed by a yogurt? Other than the fact I'm now on some horrible watch list. Well, Ditch. Well. It turns out that in 1991, the Austin yogurt shop killings, an unsolved quadruple homicide, took place at a shop called I Can't Believe It's Yogurt. We're doing this. Yeah. Here comes the next stream. Just the most ludicrous dairy-related murders. Right, I'm not going to... No offence to, like, who ran this shop, but if you were selling a product like yogurt, would you really want to call your shop I Can't Believe It's Yogurt? But you want it to taste like yogurt. If people are going in there going, what's this? You've probably got off yogurt. Yeah, the defence lawyer said, look, whatever, the man is innocent, I can't believe it's not murder. Ticket says, pour the other one that has cowbells on it. Ditch Boy said, copycats and dairy. Yeah. So we will... apparently... apparently it may have been solved 2 months ago, which is perfect. Right, thank you for that, Ditch. We will be... That title is all wrong, isn't it? We will be doing... At some point in the future, we will be doing the Austin yogurt shop killings. No offence to the victims, obviously. Um, yeah. However, Ditch, I think that if I had a yogurt shop, it definitely could definitely no murders here. Ditch. Turns out that Love, Death and Robots have an episode called When the Yogurt Took Over. Summary: scientists accidentally breed super intelligent yogurt which hungers for world domination. So, until I can give you killer yogurt, which I probably can't, there is that. Right, it's time to stop Googling things live on stream. We have failed to tempt Polly into the room. Sarah Rockstar says, Goldling, do you have a Discord? Yes, I do have a Discord. Here is all my information. I have a link tree. I have a Twitch. I have a Twitter. I don't ignore the Twitter. I don't use that. I use a private Twitter with a different name. I have a YouTube. I have several websites. It's all on the Anna Discord. It is all on the link tree. Thank you very much. What am I doing? Just give me a sec. Just give me a sec, guys. Sorry about that. Got very hot in the room. So no, here we are. Well, here's an appearance from Polly. Pretend that's a real cat. Pretend that's the cat cam. That's the best I can do tonight. Tegon, yeah, I'm absolutely happy to organise a signed book. But I would have to buy it off Amazon, sign it and ship it to you, which, if the costs are agreeable to you, I'm perfectly happy to do. But you know, it just depends where you are in shipping and what you're interested in. But it's 100% possible. Yeah, yeah. Yes, Ditch says I'm covering for her. We know she's out committing crimes. Yes, so doing a streamer with an alibi of a stream is obviously a coded reference to the fact that Polly is currently stealing the crown jewels. And thanks, Siwan. But this is the best you'll have to do tonight. Maybe she'll be back next week with the goodies safely stored away in the cupboard. Maybe that's what's in the cupboard. She needs to get into the cupboard to get her gimp suit, weaponry, and hide her loot. Exactly, Ditch, exactly. Would you like to guess how long it took me to get that photo? Steve knows how long it took me to get that photo. Oh, if you're in Essex, yeah, no, in that case, T-Gun, all you have to do is pay for the price of the book, and I will order, sign, and ship you the book. No charge. So that's no problem. Alright, well, we can't look at Polly all night. Well, I can, but you can't. Well, thank you very much, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed this. We deliberately tried to do less gruesome stuff tonight. You know, had a bit more fun at the start. Did something a bit more mysterious. Did something related to streaming. Okay, so it becomes time to sort out a raid. Again, if anybody has anyone they would like to raid, do drop it in, or I will have a little search. Thank you, Tom, for the applause. That's very I'm glad you're enjoying it. Let's see who's on. There appears to be some new initiative. Almost everybody I follow on Twitch, over their circular image appears to have a little green symbol saying "knock to ask to collaborate." I have no idea what that means. It's not really relevant. Let's see what this person is doing. This guy seems interesting. I have no idea what he's doing. Is he a historian of some sort? Oh wow! For some reason, I'd completely forgotten. I'm following somebody who does a history stream. I had no idea that this was a thing, but yet I'm following him. It must have been a late night. So I'm just going to come back to chat. Thanks for the suggestions, Sue and Sydney, but I think we'll go and give this historian a go. He's only got one. Oh, he's got 15 people, and that's quite good. I'm going to be honest. I've never actually heard his history. I'm very picky, very picky about my history. But we'll give him a go. Let's give him a go. Let's just check he's speaking English. Yeah, that'll do. Alright, thanks everybody. I hope you've enjoyed tonight. I have definitely enjoyed tonight. Hanging out with you is always great fun. Well, in fact, before I do the raid, I do have to point out. So next week will be in this time slot. There will then be a change of time. I am starting a new job, which means my timetable has to be changed. So there will definitely be a true crime show every week. It's just a case of quite when. Don't worry, I'm not going to start doing it Saturday morning. We may just pull it forward an hour. I need to work out when my friends are streaming and what's going on there and what we can do and what we can't do. But we shall come up with a new date and time for when we do this. Ditchboy says, I'm not going to sleep in case Polly's outside with a knife. I was about to say, Ditch, what have you possibly done to upset Polly? But you did help me take her to the vet. No, you've bribed her. She came over. She was very nice to you after you gave her dreamies. So, what more can we want? Got a few suggestions for people she can murder, but let's leave that there. And salmon, this is true. You are the salmon daddy. That sounds like something you should never Google. Well, yeah. To be honest, I ate a burger last night, and there was a bit left on my plate, and Polly came over and decided that for whatever reason she was going to have a little taste of the sauce. This was a mistake. She then immediately ran to her water bowl, just like I do when Ditchboy gives me fiercely hot wings. That was that was a bad idea. So maybe she'll leave Daddy's food alone for a bit. Yeah, exactly. It took. So as you know, Tegan, Ditch and I had to take Polly to the vet every day for 14 days. I can tell you, it took a long time before I was welcome in my own house. Oh, I make it sound like you torture me with spicy food often. I'm just traumatized by the memory of that hot sauce. It's trauma. No, but we're getting there. To be fair, she sees me almost 24 hours a day, and it took her several weeks before she was properly friendly again. So, and it's not just you. Catherine had to take Juki to the vet, and Juki's in a big grump, and it's been like a few days. He's still in a big grump, brother. So it's just the vet. Oh yeah, you do. Thank you. That'd be great. We'll have to sort that out next week. Thank you, Seribot, for getting in there. Faster than Foxy. That's how fast Seribot is. Right. You're off work tomorrow, actually. All right then. Well, DM, WhatsApp me. We'll discuss it. Right. Thank you, everybody. I will no longer keep you watching me witter on. Oh no, Thelonious, it's been 9 months and he still hates you. Oh, that's heartbreaking. That's a cat that holds a grudge. Well, that's on that news. We will raid Shane McGuinness. I've never seen this guy before. He says he seems to be a historian, so let's hope this is a good idea. All right, take care, everybody. Oh no, in fact, I've got to set the raid up first. It's my first day.